Now, I'm sure you'd all like to join me in congratulating Pierre on his victory last time out in Zandvoort. Well done, Pierre. Yeah, just throw the trophy back there somewhere behind mine, mate. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Aussie Villain Racing. It is round 10 of our championship, our 16-round championship, of course, and it is the Italian Grand Prix. And after Pierre Gasly's win last time out in, where were we? In Zandvoort, let's hope we can back it up with another strong result for the team here. Now, we begin, it looks like, with a chassis department event. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, so it looks as though the chassis department has overestimated its factory budget, so we can either upgrade, we can invest directly back into the department into aid R&D research, or we can get some cash. Obviously, we don't care about the cash, so we'll be upgrading that.
These kind of decisions
and well, 25% off a front nose cone structure. That will come in handy, won't it? Now let's go and have a look and see what we can do. We've got 2 days. We can do Pierre Gasly training. We can do a chassis team building, or we can do a sponsor filming event. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned with how quick Gasly is, but let's just keep investing in him and hope that. As I've said from the beginning, if the team is going to win a championship, a driver's championship, it's not going to be me that wins it, is it? So we'll keep going with Gasly there. The factory, we have 9 million to spend. That is good enough to get an upgrade of something. I wonder if we want to try and get to spec 3 on as many things as we can, and then we can kind of go back and fix things afterwards. Maybe that's what we want to do. So 8 million will get the engine or the powertrain department up to spec 3. So let's do that. And that will, well, that almost wipes out our bank account, but that's fine. R&D. Now, we are right now looking to be the best team in Formula 1. We have an ultimate chassis brakes master cylinder upgrade that is coming, I believe, in time for this race. Now, given the quick turnaround, it's unlikely we're going to have anything else be ready in time for this race. But let's go and have a look and see what we can do. And I think the aerodynamics looks like it's maxed out, 24 of 24. So we've got nothing to see here. I think this is where we've got something to do, isn't it? The chassis department. So we've got hydraulics here, which is weight redistribution. That is an ultimate upgrade. It's just a weight redistribution thing. There's no real performance thing necessarily. We've got the front nose structure. Now we've just got a discount on that, so that might be something worth doing. Again, this is just weight redistribution. A tire wear upgrade on suspension geometry. That appeals to me, I've got to say. 1900, and that is that. I like the idea of reduced tire wear. That does appeal to me. So let's get that done. That'll be, well, so we've got Italy and Russia, the next 2. So we'll have that after the Russian Grand Prix, assuming everything goes to plan. There is a month's gap there between Russia and the US, so that will hopefully, even if it was to fail, still be there in time. Let's have a look and see what we've got on the powertrain side of things. Is there anything here? Unknown upgrade, unknown upgrade, unknown upgrade, and a locked upgrade. Durability side, unknown, unknown. We've got something coming up here. It is an MG UK failure analysis. It is an ultimate upgrade, 1500. All right, let's do that, and that'll be us done essentially. And then we can go back and we can do all the chassis stuff for future races. So that's us done there. The progress history, we are still top. Mercedes look like they're chasing us down. Aston Martin look like they took a step forward. Is that Aston? Who's the line there that has gone up very, very quickly this season? It might be AlphaTauri, is it? It's AlphaTauri. They're taking massive steps forward. Everything in terms of the car looks fine in terms of wear. So that, we've got, what's that, 51% on the turbo. We'll keep an eye on that. We might, you know, it's Monza. Let's just whack a fresh turbo in for this one. And 28%, 31, 46 on them. All right, let's. I think for Monza, and that's 55, so that probably needs to be done as well. Yeah, I think for Monza especially, we won't take any risks there. It's the final race of the gearbox, so that's fine. Corporate side of things, we haven't had any changes. We've got to get to level 25, whatever the little circle thing at the top is, but level 21 now to get that 4th sponsor. Driver contracts are all good. Gasly still 97 rated, 75% focus after his win. So That's all looking good for him. Finances, we've just invested 8 million, so obviously they've taken a bit of a nosedive. And if we have a look at the standings, Gasly is currently 4th. I am currently 7th, just 3 points ahead of Hamilton. As a team, we are 4th, and we are not that far behind McLaren, are we? What's that? 9 points. So a strong race from Gasly, a strong race from me, and we could find ourselves 3rd in the Constructors after this one. There are the season results so far. I would just wasn't to be last race to me, was it? Now, previous seasons here at Monza. Last season, I've got to try and find it, we were 5th. So that's a decent result for us. And in season 1, we were 9th. So we've always scored points. So let's hope that trend continues. The rivalry with Bottas is essentially done. I cannot see me coming back from that. And driver details, we've had 2 poles, 1 win, 2 podium finishes that were both wins. I've never been on the podium that wasn't first. No, that's not true. I came 2nd. No, I've only won 1 race. Idiot. We've average finish of 11th, average grid of 13th, 2 fastest laps as well, though I was absolutely robbed of one in Monaco when Carlos Sainz did... Was it Monaco? What was the race I got robbed of a fastest lap? Anyway, let's not dwell on it. Let's sim ahead here and get ourselves ready.
The new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them
all right,
for the next Grand
the
Prix.
brakes have come in. Let's head off to Italy. Alright, so we've got the track map there of Monza. If you are unfamiliar, weather-wise, there is almost 0% chance of rain, so that is a positive. Guys, I am going to go and do some free practice, and I will see you back for qualifying 1. Alright, so free practice is done. It was going well, though. FP3, I was second off the pace in 12th, which is a little bit concerning, but FP2, Gasly and I were 1st and 2nd. We had good pace on the hard tyres in FP1. FP3, Gasly was still 3rd. The AlphaTauris look like they're quick. But, yeah, well, let's head to Q1 and see how we do. Okay, you'll notice that we are on the medium tyres. We're going to try and get through and save a set of super softs if we can. We'll let that car in front get a little bit more of a gap on us. Now, while we're coming around to start the lap, I do need to say a very big thank you to a new Patreon. I've been very lucky to within a week, I think. So, David Mortram, thank you so much, mate. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. As I always say, it isn't expected. But if you do enjoy the content, you are able to. There's a link to the Patreon down in the description. But if not, just keep watching the ads for me. That is absolutely fine and more than enough. Let's see if we can just get through here. It's such a silly little slow thing, but we've got through there okay. But yeah, thank you to David and the rest of my Patreons as well. It's really, really is appreciated. Now, these tyres should be about 0.7 of a second slower than the softs, but the car should be 0.7 faster than those that are going to be knocked out here anyway. So as long as I can do something resembling a decent lap, we should be able to get through without too much of a problem. I mean, there's an argument to say we might even, it's a little bit sloppy there, we might even be able to have gotten through onto through Q2, but that's just pushing it a little bit. I'd have to absolutely nail a lap, and I'd rather not take that risk. It's not actually been a great lap for me, if I'm being completely honest. But we'll see what we can do. Anything in the 110s should be good enough to get us through. No, 110s, that can't be right. Well, I don't know what time we're looking for there. Maybe it was a 120. I thought it was a 110. Anyway, let's see what we've done. It's P5. We might need to go again. So we'll just follow straight on. Get back around. Good old tank slap up. We've lost time through there. We do have plenty of time. You can see at the top there, still just under 14 minutes to go. So if I can just put together something a little bit cleaner, we should still be okay.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Who's around us? The Williams are just behind us, and Giovinazzi's in front. Alright, so this should pick us up speed all the way down the back straight here. We'll finish this lap, and then we'll see where we stand. Take the parabolic very well either, did I? This moves us to P6, ahead of Alonso. That should be more comfortable. So yeah, that was more than enough to get us through. We go through into from P11, which is absolutely fine. We saved ourselves a set of tyres there as well. And you can see the cars eliminated there, all the usual suspects. So let's head off into Q2 with an extra set of soft tyres in our back pocket. Alright, so here we go on our soft tyres. I think we'll need to dip into the 119s to feel safe about getting through here, I think. It was a 120 that I was trying to think of before. I don't know why I thought it was a 110, but anyway. Let's see if we can get through this silly little chicane. Starts the lap off. Wasn't too bad, I don't think. It's all about the traction out of that corner. You feel like you're crawling through it, but as long as you get a good run out of it, it's absolutely fine. Alright. It's all about timing. That was poor. Not really settled into a rhythm here, have I, through qualifying so far? Let's see what... Oh, it's annoying there's no delta, isn't it? But we'll see where we are in a second here. Oops, yeah, so we should be under a 120, shouldn't we? Yeah, it's fastest lap. That'll do nicely. Alright, so we have gone through top of the session, which is very, very nice. Just a smidge ahead of our rival, on-track rival, Bottas. Gasly's gotten through as well. Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. I told you they're quick. Stroll, a little bit of a surprise maybe to drop out. But that's heavy hitting at top 10. Let's see if we can get ourselves another pole, though. Alright, here we go, starting our first crack at this. Now, in theory, we've got 3 goes, because we've saved tyres through the first 2 sessions. Let's hope that we can get it. That's way too early on the brakes. And, well, this might just turn out to be a little bit of a banker lap for us. But we'll see. Obviously, we'll finish it off. We've got 3 goes. This will give us a delta, if nothing else, to chase. That one. The car is quick here, though. We know that we've got a quick car in a straight line. Monza, of course, is all about being quick in a straight line. So I think we get forgiven a few little errors in corners just because of the car that we have. But this has not been my finest work so far. Can we at least get a good finish to the lap? No, I'm just off. I'm off. Timing's off. I'm not timing my turn-ins. Everybody there's doing 120s. Now, we did a 119, didn't we? So, I mean, even if we do an off lap, we might actually be okay here. Gasly, of course, in the same car is going to be the issue, isn't he? There's a better lap. Hamilton with a 119.4. We come around. We've done a 120. Yeah, we're down there. We're still 4th. Alright, now our first lap was not my finest work. We're down in 8th. We do have another set of tyres, so we've only got 4 minutes to go in the session. We sort of came straight in and straight out again. And that was a little bit better, wasn't it, than we did last time. Suddenly I'm a little bit nervous. I feel like we should be good enough to at least be on the front row here with Pierre. Oh, and that's damaged the car, and we're done.
There's been some damage to the underbody.
Well, that is a massive disappointment. Our time from Q2 would have got us pole, I believe. And that wasn't even my greatest lap, but P8 is where we'll start. Penalties, are pending, obviously, but that is, I feel like, a pole position just absolutely tossed away.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and will start from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly and Tsunoda, Perez, Oldtimer, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, Stroll, Sainz, Esteban Ocon and Russell, Fernando Alonso, Giovinazzi, Christian Lundgaard, and Nicholas Latifi. Schwartzman, Joe, Mick Schumacher, and Nikita Mazepin. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Nikita Mazepin, he is, unless I'm last, always seems to be last, doesn't he? Now, unfortunately, race strategy doesn't really give us many options because we got through on the soft, so we have to go with that. And, well, I guess we just come in when the engineers say, it's going to depend how the race is going. If we're kind of stuck behind somebody, but we should be, our car is rapid in a straight line. So if we should be able to drive past anybody that's holding us up anyway. But let's get to this race. I still feel like we can win this, but from P8, it's going to be very difficult. Alright, here we go for the Italian Grand Prix. Look at the AVR cars there, primed for some big points. Let's see what sort of start we get. And already I can tell you I am trying to figure out how we've got a good start here. Look at this, down the inside of Sonoda. How are we going to get through this first chicane without losing part of our car? Let Pierre go on the outside. I really wish it wasn't him. It's close. Don't hit somebody on the inside. Is that Sonoda crashing across? Oh, maybe. Did we damage the front wing there? Instantly we go to check. It looks fine. I'm okay with 7th. That's good. We'll tuck in behind Sonoda. See if we can get a draft and maybe get a move into the second chicane here down the outside. It looks like it's going to be elite on the brakes. Round the outside. Or can we get back in? We can. And that is going to be P6 with a big gap now ahead of us after the obviously compromised exit to that second chicane. But I genuinely do think we have the pace in the car to, I mean, winning from where we were is going to be difficult, but I do think we're quick. And it was a bit of a stuff up on my part in qualifying that we weren't able to be, you know, at least on the front row. But there we go. If we can, the draft is going to be dangerous, isn't it? But I'm using the battery power as much as possible, just trying to make sure before we get to DRS we can be clear of Sonoda and not have to worry about him coming lunging up the inside of us, because we know Yuki loves a lunge, but also trying to get into that DRS zone of Pierre Gasly in front of us as well in that lead train. But 5th and 6th, you know, if this is how the race finishes, we're going to pull out a lot of points on Ferrari. We're going to pull out a lot of points, pull back a lot of points on Red Bull as well. Verstappen and Perez are both behind us. It would just be Mercedes and McLaren that would score more points than us. And you know what? If we get 3rd in the championship this season, we'll be delighted. Although we need to pull in more points on Red Bull. I think, are they currently the leaders of the constructors? I think they might be. So we would still be in 4th. But a long way to go. It's only lap 2. The gap in front is, what's it, 1.4, 1.5 seconds. Sonoda is still hanging on behind us. And, well, it's not DRS. Oh, we've gone way too deep into the second Lesmo. And that is going to invite a bit of pressure. You can see again, we're using that battery power as much as possible. We are quick in a straight line, so it should be okay. But I'm just a little bit wary. We saw at the start that the AlphaTauri were making big progress in the development race. And I can tell you Stroll in free practice was quick. He was sort of right up there. He had a disappointing qualifying as well, I'm sure. And so it's just, just cautious of Sonoda behind us. But we've pulled out a nice little gap there now. He is outside of a second. We are also outside of a second of Gasly in front.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
So a reminder of how DRS works if you're unfamiliar. But yeah, with I mean, obviously we've got to be within DRS when it's available after the second Lesmo there on that back straight. And well, Sonoda's going to be outside. That first chicane, we just lose so much time. If I could figure out how to get through there quick, we'd be dangerous, I tell you. But I just can't quite get my head around how to do it and do it well. But we are just inside that second now of Gasly. He just wants to slow up a little bit to give us the tow. I'm sure he doesn't want to do that. Now, can we get somewhere near the apex? We can. We've got a good run out of there, and we do indeed have DRS, and Sonoda is outside of DRS range. So we can focus forward and see what we can do. A purple middle sector. Ooh, a little deep into the Ascari chicane there. It's really, you can't really see it. But I can tell you, when you come out of that Ascari chicane, it gets a little tentative on the steering wheel. There's a lot of sliding going on. Now see if we can set up Gasly for a move here. We've sort of tried to cut back on the inside. This is going to give us the inside run into the chicane. And we've set the fastest lap, and we may not even need, as we cut across, maybe a little bit too soon, but the indicator said we were clear of him. And we can focus forward now on Valtteri Bottas. And there is really a train, isn't there, in front of us for the lead. Looks like Hamilton and Norris are going side by side there. Again, not the greatest exit out of the chicane. It gives Gasly a little bit of interest, but know your place, Pierre. You won last time. Sit behind me. Yeah, look at this. Oh, and we almost run up the back of Bottas just because everybody is, well, they're queued up, aren't they? Whether there is some damage to Norris, who I believe is still in the lead, or whether he is just really struggling on...
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
On the soft tyres. Now, Jeff, I'm trying to read and drive, which is never a good idea. He wants us to go long.
Okay, copy
and
that.
I don't think that's a great idea, to be honest, given that the tyres are already... I wouldn't say they're worn, but they're certainly not fresh anymore. But yeah, so we don't want to be extending the stint, that's for sure. Let's see if we can get a similar move. And I've got a little bit too deep this time into the parabolic up, and that has compromised our exit. So we're not going to be able to do a
We're approaching the pit window.
do a Gasly this lap.
Mediums.
We've got DRS. We're approaching the pit window. Let's see what we can do here. A little bit earlier on the brakes because we were too far back for a lunge on Bottas, but they're just so slow, aren't they? And again, it's Hamilton and Norris battling.
Stopping this lap.
And you can see we are gonna bite the bullet here and look for the undercut. Now, if we can just stay ahead of this. But I feel like we're being held up until, I mean, look at the ground we're making up to the point where we have to sort of bail off to the outside to try to avoid hitting cars in front of us. So they are definitely slow. They're holding us up. So I think we were supposed to come in, was it lap 6 or lap 7? You would assume that...
Okay, clear.
We've got a yellow flag behind us as well. You would assume that that would be the lap that others would be coming in as well, if not maybe a little bit later still. So that's going to give us worst case scenario a lap, best case scenario 2 or 3 on fresh tyres to try and leapfrog everybody who's stuck behind Lando Norris. That is, well, clearly holding us up because there's a train of cars. The top 6. I wouldn't mind if Gasly wanted to do an undercut next lap as well, but obviously we can't do his strategy for him. So here we go, pulling off into the pit lane. Let's see what happens here.
Alright, well, I'm coming in a lap earlier than scheduled because basically Norris is holding everybody up. It's an absolute train and we're losing time into those chicanes, so I'm hoping we're going to do a little bit of an undercut here. Hopefully we're going to get clear track when we come out.
Exit now.
And go absolutely bananas for as many laps as we can.
White line on the exit. You'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Now, you may have just seen in the distance there the Hassers. They're in the way. We're going to skip ahead though to the end of lap 7. Oh, sorry, the start of lap 7. So basically we've missed a lap, and you can see there we've got the dueling Hassers in front of us. And consider, I mean, we've taken 4 seconds out of them in a lap, or near enough too. So we are absolutely flying. Obviously, we couldn't have set a fastest lap because we came out of the pit, so that's going to have held us up in terms of a lap time. But look at this, right behind them, we've got Mazepin in front of us first of all. And they're on, well, they'd be worn soft tyres, wouldn't they? And look at that, we're just taking so much ground out of them. We get a legitimate move done between the two Lesmos, thank you Nikita. Now we've got Mick Schumacher in front of us. We'll get DRS off of him, and we need
nice move. Good job.
Thank you, Jeff. We need to clear these two as quickly as possible. Can we get him into the Ascari chicane? Out of the way, Mick, coming through. We can. So we've made pretty quick work of them, and you can see what I mean there about squirrely exits out of the Ascari chicane. And we're using as much battery power as we're permitted to use. And as we jump off board, you can see we've just taken so much time out of the Hassers in half a lap. And it looks as though the tower's jumping around. There are cars in the pit lane. Where are we going to jump out here? As Norris, it looks like Ricciardo's in the pits. We're past him, we're past Hamilton, who was battling with Norris. We're comfortably past Hamilton. There he is coming out of the pits now in the background. So we've got one more lap, it looks like, until Lando Norris is going to come in. Surprising they didn't pit him, well, not the greatest exit out of the chicane there. Surprised they didn't pit him ahead of Ricciardo. But we've cleared Ricciardo anyway. And with the gap we have on Hamilton, considering how close he was to Norris, unless something went wrong for Hamilton in the greatest out of chicane number 2 there, we are looking very nice for this little move to work out for us. Now the issue, of course, is that you can see tyre wear isn't terrible, but the issue we are going to have is Norris is going to have 2 or 3, maybe even 4 lap fresher tyres. No, we came in lap 5, didn't we? So 3 or 4 lap fresher tyres. So towards the end of the race, that might become an issue. But the tyre wear on the mediums isn't terrible. Let's see, have we done enough? Hamilton is behind us. It's about 3-second gap. Is that an interval? I think it is, isn't it? We've got cars in front pulling out of our way, which is nice. And here we go. Norris, is he in the pits? He is. And we have got Gasly. We've got Norris. We've got Norris. There he is coming out of the pits. There's Gasly behind him. So we are in the effective lead of the Italian Grand Prix with, what's that, 5 laps to go. Oh, this is working out very, very nicely. The undercut's worked a charm.
Jeff, the undercut work.
I don't know, genius might be a bit much, but there we go. We are going to skip ahead now to the beginning of lap 11. Everybody's made their stops. You can see we are 2.1 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. And we've just basically got to keep it on the track and, well, not lose more than half a second a lap. Hamilton and Gasly, you can see there in P4. Could we get 2 AVR cars on the podium, maybe? I think Hamilton does have a bit of a gap ahead of Gasly, so that's maybe a little bit optimistic, but reminiscent of actually Gasly's win at Monza in real life, isn't it? With, we've run wide there, kicking up the dust. Where it was Sainz in the McLaren trying to chase down Gasly. Well, it's both teammates this time. As Norris tries to chase down... Oh...
Shit, that was close, Jeff.
That was...
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Jeff seems completely unconcerned by the fact that I was very, very... I don't even know if it did it justice. We were so close to bidding that on the inside wall that... Yeah, it was very, very close. But the gap with that poor exit is down to 1.3, 1.4 seconds. 1.5. You can see we are faster than Norris down the straight. But I think his fresher tyres might just be starting to work a little bit for him. But we're still 1.7 seconds. So he's taken, what, 3 seconds, 3/10 of a second, sorry, out of us that lap. And we continue to extend the gap down the front straight. This is the corner. We've got to do it 2 more times and I've gone deep. Oh, and that's going to compromise us again on the exit. 1.1 seconds. Under a second. He has DRS, potentially. Obviously, we're not in a DRS zone, but he's 0.7 of a second back. A lap and a half to go. Oh. Just pick your braking points. Pick your turn-in points. Oh, he looks even closer. He's not actually. We pulled out a couple of tenths. Can we get it out to over a second to avoid a DRS? I'm not sure exactly where the detection point is there. I think it might be on the entrance to the Lesmo.
Oh, that was Norris in Montreal too, wasn't it?
It was when we were leading in Montreal. It was Norris that was chasing us down, and we all know what happened there as I stuck it in the wall and lost the front wing and trailed home in 20-something. So we're coming down 0.6 of a second. We are about to do the parabolica and then start the final lap of the race. And Norris is... Anybody else hear Jaws music, or is that just me? Oh, look how much closer he is this time around. 0.7 of a second. We've lost a second to him that lap. We have started the final lap.
Final lap of the race.
And for the last time, we have the chicane. Can I get something like a good run through it? That's not my worst. And we didn't go spearing off to the inside either. But Norris is 0.4 of a second back. We still lose time through that, even when I do a decent job of it. The second chicane. Oh, and look how close he is. It's 0.4 of a second. Oh, and I've gone deep.
There's
I've got
only
into
one
the
lap of
dirt,
fuel
to
remaining.
the inside. Oh, we've just about got across in time. And we now have Lando Norris all over our gearbox. Again, we've sort of blocked to the inside, just making sure he can't get past. And this is a DRS zone. We've got a decent exit out of there. We're on the battery. Are we going to have enough?
Jeff, I'm pooping myself a little bit here.
He's closing, he's closing. He's not going to have enough to lunge, so we don't bother blocking. It took a little bit of a calculated risk there, but look at this. One corner to go. Lando Norris, Aussie Villain, it is so close. I'm trying to break the toe, maybe a little bit guilty of weaving. We've got the inside of the Palaboric. If he can go around the outside of us here, good luck to him. He's not going to do that. We've won the race. We have got there.
Yeah!
Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
Barely. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
Yay! Mucho classy! Mucho classy! Montebella! Thank you! Champione! Yeah, look, I mean, I'm obviously a tactical genius, aren't I? You know, all the greats are able to concentrate on something other than their driving whilst they're in the lead of a race. And, well, I wasn't in the lead at the time, but made the right call. Jeff and the other engineers had nothing to do with it. And it's important after Pierre won last time out, we just give him a little bit of, you know, letting know who's boss still. Well, that was a little bit tense at the end there, wasn't it? It felt like the more I was trying not to make mistakes, the more mistakes I was making, and... Oh, 0.2 of a second, but we get there with fastest lap as well, and it was all the undercut. You know, it was, I don't know if Norris had damage or something. I don't know if I was driving a little bit too conservatively at the end there, but, oh, I mean, he was holding everybody up in that first stint. In the second stint, he just would not go away. But there we go, and Gasly, look at that, only 0.2 of a second off, making it both cars on the podiums. But back-to-back wins for the team, which is magnificent. I've beaten Bottas in the rivalry. I think it's a little bit too late to save that, but we'll see how we go there. That moves us up into 5th in the championship now, 1 point ahead of Perez, several points ahead of Ricciardo and Hamilton. And if we look at the constructors side of things, well, we have jumped McLaren. We are only 19 points off the lead of this championship. And Pierre and I are racing well. This, I mean, we could. Let me know what you think. Could we go and win this championship? I think a lot of it's going to depend on the races remaining, because I'm trying to think what they are now. I think it's Sochi and USA, which is not my greatest. Jeddah, which is going to be a complete mystery to everybody. My home race, our team's home race in Australia as well. Oh, but victory number 2 for me and number 3 for the team. So there we go. We pulled back a lot in the rivalry, but like I say, it's essentially done. Yeah, if you've enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. The next race is the Russian Grand Prix. We got our first ever really good result there. I think we got a 6th in season 1, was it? So let's hope we can continue that progress, and maybe, who knows, could we get 3 wins in a row for the team, and then we really would be in the constructors title, wouldn't we? And well, oh, we got all the money from the sponsors as well, and I'm so really pleased with that. I'm surprised nobody else did the undercut, to be honest, but anyway, we've got a little bit more money in the bank, but we've got to make sure we're going to get to that 10 million now to get Pierre for next season, I think. Let me know. I think we're keeping Pierre, aren't we? But that's it for today. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time as we head to Russia for the Russian Grand Prix. Take care.